Hi, my name is Mike Theiss. I teach my face-to-face classes at the University of Wisconsin Marathon campus, and I also teach for the University of Wisconsin online campus. I will be working with you in an application called Access. We're going to be working on creating a relationship in Microsoft Access. I'm going to my Access button on my desktop, turning it on. I know the demo for online is what I want to use. And it comes right up because I've been in here a little bit earlier. So my navigational pane is set. It's showing me the tables. Now it's imperative that when you get to this point and you're working in the applications and specifically in Access, that you understand your data. You can't just grab a file and start to create tables and other objects. You have to understand how the objects you're working with relate to each other. And that basically comes down to understanding how the tables were put together. For example, over here on the left in the navigational pane, some human came up with the idea. They designed this database so there were a number of tables, and the tables collect certain specific data. They collect it in records, and the fields in the records, the columns in the records, are where that data is stored. The person who put this together understood how everything related before they sit down and actually did their tables. Okay, when I go to my customers and I open this, I want to take and open it in the design view, I can see that a couple of rules were applied. First of all, there's descriptive names. The syntax of the field names is consistent. No spaces, using the appropriate camel case syntax to build the name, okay? So the human being who looks at this, who's just a novice end user, understands what should be in the container, what should be in each field. The second area had to do with the data types, okay? At the beginning, even before they started building the table, the person who did all that work says, oh, this is just going to be alphanumeric text, or oh, this is going to be a value, or this is going to be currency, or this is going to be a date. The data type is critical. Okay, we have to make sure we're comfortable with our data types, because that will affect how the relationship is created. I'll be getting back to that in a little bit. After we have all these entities covered, you got to make sure of at least one other thing. And I'm down here and I kind of highlight a number in the field size cell here in the field size. This is the other area inside the table, inside the field inside the table, that has to be done correctly to create a relationship. Now, I've done a little overview on a specific table called customers. Let me close that and this is going to be a little bit mind-boggling if you haven't done this already. I'm going to go in and I'm going to be looking at creating this relationship, putting these electronic lines between the tables so I can share information between the tables that I want to. The tab is Database Tools, okay? And when I click on the Database Tools, a whole new ribbon opens up, and what I want to use is the relationship icon right here. I click on this and oh boy, I get all kinds of, okay, might not even all fit on my screen at the one time. I'm scrolling over here a little bit, and I'm saying, okay, just to make sure everybody's going to be able to see it. Here's a picture of the electronic tie. I just arbitrarily happened to pick the order details table. Has 1, 2, 4 fields in it. Okay, there is a product table. The product ID field in the products table is linked to the product ID field in the order details field. This is just an example. Both of these fields in the table have the same information. It's got the same field size and it's got the same data type. Doesn't necessarily have to be named unique, named the same, but that's how I can build this. Let me scroll back, kind of put this back in an order here. This is just a picture of. Now, the thought process that went into here, I think this will be a little easier to understand. The thought process, even up front, before the tables over here were made, the person who designed it said, hey, I'm going to have a customer table. Okay, we kind of talked about that earlier. These are the fields in my customer table. Every customer is going to have a unique customer ID number. That's where the primary key comes in. One customer can have many orders. If it's a good customer, they're going to have a lot of orders. In the orders bucket, I'm going to keep track of this information. Okay, where my mouse is moving right now. I have a field that I on purpose made sure I created in my orders table called customer ID. It's even got the same name as this field over here. And if I design this right, the customer ID fields in both tables have the same field size and the same data type. That's the basics to getting a relationship created. Same thought process with this table called employees. It's got a lot of fields in it, all thought up ahead of time. But we knew, the person who put this table together knew that at one point they'd be tying to the orders table. Here I am again. I have an employee ID, okay, who took care of that customer, and an employee ID over here in the orders. I'm keeping track of that employee ID information actually in 2 places. Now, to make you feel good, I'll just state this. If you put this and design this right, when you fill out one of the tables the first time, it'll automatically fill out the appropriate fields in the other table as it's created. Don't ask me why, a little bit too early in our access thought process to worry about that. Okay, you can see things are one to many. One employee can handle a lot of orders. One order can have a lot of order details. There's a thought process here. It's not as simple as just sitting down and starting typing on the computer. Let me delete one of these relationships. I put my mouse button right on that line. I clicked my right mouse button and I want to delete the relationship. And I'm going to tell it yes. Okay, it's gone. Now, assuming there's none of these other relationships out here yet, don't look at the forest, just look at the tree here. I want to create a relationship. I know my field types are accurate. I know that my field sizes are accurate. I'm comfortable with my field names and the syntax that I use. They're descriptive. I take and I've got this table open here where the view open here where I'm putting together my my relationships. All my tables are here. I'm holding down my left mouse button. I know that this field ties directly to the customer ID field over here. And when I let go of my left mouse button, the dialog box here opened up. from one table or query is customer ID, and you can see kind of faded here, it tells me the table it's coming from. Over here to the orders, customer ID. Now, I want to enforce referential integrity. Okay, this is the process where if you update a field, okay, or you update to delete, it'll be done automatically. Don't worry about how. It's kind of like the good housekeeping seal of approval that this stuff is going to work perfectly. You can tell it you want to use these tools, and you go to create, and if everything is set up right, you will get a one-to-many relationship. And that's our goal. Now, I didn't mean to floor you with all these different tables and all, but basically it's one table at a time tied to another one. If the appropriate design is done up front, this will work quite easily. And then when it comes to taking and getting, I want to know the address of the customers who have birth dates of a certain range, or even better, their last name and were shipped on a certain ship date. I can get data from all these containers and have it show up in either a report or use it in a query to calculate certain management information. Developing relationship is deceptively easy when it works, but there's a lot behind it. Take the time. Do your hands-on work. Hands-on is the best way to learn this. And remember, think ahead. Design ahead of time. Don't just sit down in front of the computer and start typing. Thanks much. Have a good day.